Okay, I'm really sorry. Yes. So, uh, so today we are going to start with data analysis. We'll discuss about data visualization as well. Okay, but before going ahead, we are going to have a basic discussion on whatever we have done in the last class. On top of that, we are also going to have a bit of a discussion that you guys are saying, like from where to get the exact notebook link, and from where you can get the access of the recordings. So a recording is something that is available on Geeks for Geeks main channel YouTube, because this session that we are doing right now, it's being live on YouTube as well. So make sure like you can go to the YouTube Geeks for Geeks channel, go to the live stream, and you will get the live stream that happened yesterday uh, there exactly. Okay. So now talking about yesterday's session's Google Collab, okay, I'm going to share the link here as well. And I have shared it in the last class as well, but I'll make sure I'll share on YouTube. Okay. So before starting with the session, let me screen with you. I hope the screen is visible to you. Is it? And yes, this is an important part that I'm done. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible to you. Okay, that is great. So we have discussed in the last class about the flow of a data analysis project. How projects start. It start with an agenda, a problem statement, right? Then we'll find the key performance indicators. The key performance indicators are nothing but the questions that can be answered, and based on the answer of the question, we can make the decisions, right? So we will find the key performance indicator that can fulfill my agenda, that can fulfill the problem statement. Okay, so in the KPIs part, we usually have questions that has to be answered. Okay, and then we are going to collect the data, like what exactly the data uh, do we have, or do I need to answer these questions based on the KPIs that we are having. Then based on the data that I have, I'm going to explore the data, right? I'm going to collect the data, then I'll explore the data. In data exploration part, we have discussed that we are going to explore the data, remove the unwanted columns, null values removal, duplicate values, column exploration, each and every individual, and checking their data types. Okay, these are the basic steps that we have. Okay, on the extreme side, we can also check the correlation. That's more on the data cleaning and post processing that we have. But in general, these are the steps that we have in data exploration. Then in the data cleaning, whatever we have found, that in the data exploration part, I got to know like these are the things that has to be done on this column. These are the things that has to be done on this column. So in the data cleaning part, we are going to clean the data. Okay. And once my data is clean, I'm going to analyze the data. And once my data is analyzed, I can build the visualization, because this is the best way to present the data. Okay. So this is basically a 6 or 7 step process that we have. And every step depend upon the step before that. For example, to visualize the data, I need to have the data, right? Analyze the data. And to analyze the data, first of all, the data should be clean. Otherwise, I cannot analyze it. We have discussed it in the last class as well. That's why we are cleaning the data. And to clean the data, first of all, we need to know what exactly need to be cleaned. So data exploration. But to explore the data, first of all, I need to have the important data. I need to have the data. So collection of the data. And what data has to be collected? There is, on the internet is full of data, right? So what data is important for you? For that purpose, you need to know, like, I want to get the data that can answer the questions, that can answer these key performance indicators. And how I will find these key performance indicators? Based on the problem statement. So this is the flow of a data analysis project. After the data visualization part, you can either jump for the dashboard building, depend upon the problem statement, or go for deployment of those projects as well. That totally depend, or basically, or either go for presentation building as well. That totally depend upon the problem statement. Okay. But this is what we have in the last class, the flow of the data analysis project. Okay. And if anyone having any doubt, any question, any query, do let me know in the chats. Okay. I am going to take some time in between as well to answer your query so that all the things will be revised. Okay. Sir, please recap the previous session. Yes, I am going to recap the previous session as well. Okay. So now, could you please share the notes? Yes, I have shared the notes in the last class as well. I'm going to share with you today as well. And make sure on YouTube, I'm going to share in the description part so that anyone from directly YouTube seeing this video can also have a look. I hope all of you guys were a part of the last session that we have yesterday. Okay, those who are not the part of the yesterday session and don't know what a data analysis, how it works, it might be a bit difficult for you. So I strongly recommend go for the last video and uh, then come to this video. But if you have already been a part of the last video, then that's totally fine. I'm little late to the session. Please explain KPIs. So KPI is nothing but the key performance indicator, uh, the parameters through which the problem can be solved. Okay. Exploration and cleaning. So in the exploration part, we will basically check what has to be cleaned, what has to be done on the data. Right. So in the exploration part, we are just exploring it and checking what has to be done. And the data cleaning part, we are actually going to do it. Okay. Now, these are some of the questions that I have. Okay. That I am passing under key performance indicators. Right. Or the questions that has to be answered. Clear. Usually we have one specific kind of KPIs to answer the queries. But here I'm taking different kind of queries so that you will have different kind of taste. So you can go for a skill-based assessment kind of analysis, where all the question will be totally dependent upon the skills. You can go for another agenda where all the things will be finding an overall, like how many companies do we have, total jobs, total companies, average salary, minimum salary, maximum salary, and overall analysis of the whole data set. You can also go for any specific column of your choice, which is, for example, location based, right? Or experience based. So now I'm going to take in general couple of questions so that you will have the taste of all the different kind of thing that has to be answered. Okay. Now, based on all these questions, now these are the questions that will be, that is something you will be having before having the data set, right? Because these questions depend upon the agenda or problem statement. Based on the agenda, we'll find the key performance indicators, or they are basically the question that has to be answered. And once we have these questions, now I know which data I will be needing. I need the data of total number of jobs. Along with that, I also need to have the companies associated to it. I also need to have the job posting, which particular job post they are hiring for. I need to have it for the company name. Obviously, I need to have uh, the experience they are hiring for. I also need to have the salary column. Okay. And when I'm talking about top five companies, now how will you find top five companies? To find top five companies, based on different factors, I can find top five companies. I can find top five companies based on their ratings, I can find based on their reviews, or I can find based on a lot of other things as well, right? So I need rating and review column as well. So in the second finding the KPIs part, we are writing the question, and based on these questions, we'll find what data is important. So that then I'll collect the data, or basically I'll ask the company to give me the data. Once I have the data, now the next step is I might have some unwanted data as well, right? Because if the agenda is to find the answer of these questions, I might not be needing the columns like when exactly the job is posted. I don't need that, so I can remove that column, right? So in the data exploration part, we are going to explore the data and remove all the unnecessary kind of a thing that we have. After that, I'm going to clean the data and analyze the data. And in analyzing the data, these questions are being answered. Okay. And after that, we are going to visualize the data as well. And while visualizing the data, there are a lot of ways through which we can visualize the data. Okay. Now, okay, I think he's using a demo data set, a fake one. Okay. So first of all, this is not a this is not a dummy data set. This is a real data set. Okay. So for example, if I go here and show you the data set. So inside the data set, I have dropped the data, this particular data link. But if I show you the data frame, okay. So if you look closely, all these jobs comes with a naukri.com job posting link, right? And if you go and check any column of your choice, for example, if I'm talking about the job link column, so these are the job links do we have. Let's take any of the job link. So this is the full link of the job. Okay, so you can copy it. You can go to the next step and give it a try to paste it. Okay, now this is an old data set. So some of the jobs that I have posted might be expired as well, right? But this data is collected from naukri.com only. Clear? So yes, this is not the dummy data. This is just want to show you. Clear? So now this is something that we have done. So I'm cloning this particular repository where the data set actually resides. Okay, so this is the link job analysis case. Okay, I was using this data set sample. Okay, so this is the repository from where I have a folder named as job posting, and inside this job posting I have jobs.csv. So I'm cloning this repository. Once this repository is cloned, I am basically going to this data sets and job posting, and after that I'm copying the path and I'm pasting the path here so that my data set is loaded. Okay, I'm also using a library that we have not used yesterday, which is warnings. So warning is a library that will help you disable the warning whenever you are doing any cleaning. There are some chances that in some of the cases you will get warnings. So this warning filter ignore will disable the warning so that the warning will not be displayed. Okay, and after that, these are a couple of things that we are done. We have checked the null values as mentioned in this, right? So we are going to explore the data, remove the unwanted columns, checking the duplicates, removing the unwanted columns, and that is it. After that, we have explored each and every column as well and got to know what exactly has to be dealt with. And in the data cleaning part, we have written some codes. Like this is the code that I have written to clean experience, location, rating, and reviews column, right? And not only just replacing this, right? Because as you know, if I'm talking about just the reviews column, okay, so after executing this, reviews column is not cleaned yet, right? So if I'm going for df of reviews, this is what the reviews is basically storing right now. So your task is to clean the rating, the reviews column as well, and we are going to do that as well. So far we are just dealing with the null values part of it. Okay, so dealing with null values, dealing with duplicate, changing the data type of job id, changing the salary column. So this part has to be done, this part has to be done, and along with that, let me also write 2.7 where I'm going to clean the rating columns, or basically review column. Okay, so these are a couple of things that we are already done with. Okay, now today I have two tasks pending. For location, review column is pretty simple. The only complex thing is for the salary. Clear? And then we are going to answer all these questions. There are a couple of answers that can be written as it is. That is going to be just a number. For example, how many number of jobs? What are the companies? Okay. Uh, and there are going to be a couple of things for which I'm going to plot the graphs. I'm going to make some visualizations, right? So to make the visualizations, I'm going to use libraries like Matplotlib, Pandas, and Seaborn, and so on. Clear? So now going back to it, and at the meantime, if anyone is facing any difficulty, do let me know. Okay, collab link, please. Okay, it would be great if I share the collab link at the end of the session because I don't want to get guys to get confused in between. Okay, I want all of you guys' attention exactly here. Okay, so now the funda is let me run all the cells again so that all the things will be exactly here. Data exploration, and in the data cleaning part, this first two, three, four, first four parts are done. I've got the minimum and the maximum salary, minimum and maximum experience. Now I'm going to clean the salary column. Okay. Now to clean the salary column, first of all, let's take the salary column just to, so that we can check how exactly salary is. So here you can see we have the minimum salary, we have the maximum salary, and we also have cases where salary is not disclosed. So what exactly I need to do? I need to check, right? And salary is an important column because there is a question that totally depends upon average salary of of a person based on specific years of experience. So if I want to find average salary of a data analyst of 2 years experience, so I need to have this particular salary in numeric format, in integer format. Right now it's in text format. So I cannot perform arithmetic operations or the kind of operations on this data set. Okay. Now let's see uh, how I can clean this column. For that purpose, let's check what are the different kind of unique values do we have. So these are all the kind of unique values do we have here. Okay. So here you can see we have not disclosed. We have two values, which is the left one and the right one. We also have two values along with that and included 20% variable part. So that's also something that we need to think how we need to portray it. We also have something like this, where I just have one salary rather than two. Okay. We also have single salary like 50,000 PA, like 50,000 PA. I don't know. 50,000 PA means that it's like four, uh, 4,000 per month. Okay. So, but we have these kind of things as well. And along with that, we also have salaries like 9.5 CR. How I can convert all these salaries into minimum and maximum salary so that I can perform the same kind of operation as I'm going to do on minimum experience and maximum experience. So that is something I want to check. Okay. So here you can see there are a lot of use cases. Okay. And I've told you earlier as well, data analysis is 80% data cleaning. Okay, so you need to work a lot on cleaning the data because if the data is clean, data analysis is pretty easy. But if the data is not clean, then it is going to take a lot of your efforts to clean the data. Okay. And in tomorrow's session, we are going to use some LLM tools, not only LLM tools, some AI tools in general that will help you analyze the data. And then we will check exactly how efficient these tools are at this point of time. That do these tools are that efficient that they can replace the job of a data analyst? We are going to answer it tomorrow. Okay. So we are going to use some LLM tools for that part as well. So right now here you can see there are a couple of them. If I want to write some of the test cases, there are a couple of them with just not disclose written. Okay. Or not disclose. There are a couple of them where I just have just the minimum salary. There are a couple of them where I have minimum and maximum salary. There are a couple of them where I have minimum and maximum with a variable. Okay. These are all the things that we have. It's clear. And not only that, we also have the cases like any graduate. Now, what will you do in this particular case? This is something out of the league kind of a thing that we have, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a very simple thing. Okay. So most of them are either a single number or two numbers separated with a dash. Most of them are either a single number. LLMs are large language models. Yes, we are. Yes, thanks, Mumi. Okay, thanks, name. Okay, so now we are going to see how we can clean it. Now to clean it, the process, something I'm going to use is, first of all of them are having PA, this particular part, common. Okay, so let's replace this part first. So dot str dot replace PA dot with nothing. Okay. And I'm not going to replace just the space PA, this PA. I'm going to replace space PA because it comes with space all the time. So let's replace in this way. So this is what I am having today, right? So this part is now removed. Now you can also go and check by performing unique. What do we have exactly? And you can see all the PA part is gone. That's nice. Now what I'm going to do, for now, I'm going to remove this particular variable part as well. Because I know for now variable part is not that useful because it's just about minimum and the maximum salary. If I'm finding the average or anything in that particular range, because how will you evaluate like the maximum the variable part as well? So for that purpose, so all these things which are written in variables are written starting with a bracket, right? If we have, they're starting with a bracket, otherwise we don't have it. So let's do one thing, dot str dot split. I'm going to split all of them based on this bracket opened. And once this bracket open is being done, and if I'm executing it, right now it is not showing you anything, right? But if I'm going for dot unique, mm, 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 dot split, okay, this is what we have. But if I go for dot str of 0, okay, so what exactly do we have? Now let me check the unique part. So now here you can see all the numbers that are coming after the space are removed. So what exactly being done? Let me show you. Just to give an example, that if someone has the salary written something like this, like variable 20% or something like this, and this whole thing is a string. So what I'm doing, I'm splitting it based on the opening bracket. So I will have two values. Variable part is at the end. And then I'm taking the zeroth index. So variable part for from all of them is now gone, and that's it, right? So here you can see now all of them, means most of them are numbers. There are a couple of them with BTech and BA and BCA also written, but we will deal with them separately. That's the best thing that we can do at this point of time. We also have people who have written like something like this. Now what to do in this case? There are people who have written in the salary CA, MBA, PG, DM, and all these kind of things. Okay. So cleaning this particular kind of data is difficult. Okay, but it's not difficult, it's just complex. That's a bit complex, but if you understand it, it's pretty simple. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and here you can see all the kind of cleaning that I'm writing here is something I'm doing in just one line. Okay, so now once this part is done, now the next step I can do is I can take now this dash and split it, right? So I can take dot str dot split it based on dash. Okay, so once I've splitted it, I'll have two numbers. Okay, this is the first one, this is the second one, right? And based on the first one, if I want to extract just the first one, I will get 0. Okay, not this particular 0, this will take the 0th row, dot str of 0. So this will take the 0th row of all of them. Okay, and in the exact same, if I'm taking the first index, this will take the second row of it. Or I can go for -1 as well, which is the last index. Okay, last index, going for last index. Okay, for last index, going for last index will not make much sense because it will take the last index in the exact same way as we are taking in the first index. But if something like this we are doing, I hope I'm clear to you. Okay, it might look a bit complicated what exactly we are doing, but I'll try to explain it step by step in the first in the detail part. Okay, so this is what we have if I'm taking the 0th index, and this will give you the DF of minimum salary. Okay, so if I go for DF of minimum salary and executing it, this is what we have. Let's check the unique part of it now. So in the unique part of it, as you can see, we have a lot of numbers now. It's looking a lot more clean. And here you can see the number of unique values are a lot lesser now, right? It still have some issues. It still have the issue like 9.5 CR and above, they need to build separately. So does for any graduate, so does for graduate not required, so does for any postgraduate, and these kind of categories, but we can deal with them separately. Now we have a lot less categories. Okay. And not only that, here you can see there are a lot of dashes here. So let's do one thing. We can also go for .str dot strip so that extra spaces will be removed. And here you can see extra spaces are removed. Not only that, you can also write str dot replace, and I'm going to replace these commas with nothing. So now this is what we have. Now the salaries are a lot cleaner, lot cleaner, right? Now what I can do, I can take all of them and I can take just these categories that I don't want here. For example, if someone has written any graduate, so I can easily say any graduate, I can take this category of any graduate and I can replace it with, for example, so far I'm writing all the things in a list. For example, there are people who are giving less than 50,000 as well. Now, what to do with less than 50,000? That's also something that we need to think, right? So less than, okay, here we have less than part here. Okay, less than 50,000 or basically graduate not required. So I can basically make a list of all of them. And once I have the list, I can replace all of them to not disclose. That's the best thing we can do. So I will make one extra category, which is called as not disclosed. So we can either have salary exactly there, or we can have salary not disclosed, right? And here you can see in the MTech, MC, and all these kind of scenarios, it would be great if I'm categorizing them under not disclosed rather than disclosing it. Okay. So now this is what we have. Okay. Now, if I go back to this particular thing, so here I have basically written the whole code to analyze, to clean just the salary column so that it won't be more complicated to you, because there are a lot of categories that we have here. So basically cleaning the salary column, this is the approach that I'm following. Okay. So what I'm doing, first of all, I'm doing the same thing. I'm replacing the PA part, replacing the comma with space, and then splitting them based on dash and taking the 0th index. This is going to return you the clean salary. Then I'm removing the 9.5 CR part, less than 5,000 part, less than 5,000 parts. So if it is apart from that, then I'm going to deal with it. Then I'm taking the clean salary, and based on exactly the same thing, I'm also finding the maximum salary. Okay. So you can either go for this approach, or this is a cleaner way of writing the exact same code. Okay. So if I'm executing it and showing you the whole data frame, this is how the data frame looks now. Okay. So this has the salary not disclosed and this minimum salary and maximum salary. Okay. So if I go for DF of minimum salary, so this is the minimum salary column that I have. I can go for dot unique, and this is what we have, which is kind of the same as we have already. Okay. So now when I'm going to analyze the data, I'm going to take only the ones which are not disclosed, and then I'm going to analyze it further. Okay. You can use exactly the same approach that I have tried as well, or you can go for this kind of conditioning where salary not equals to 9.5 CR and above. So here you can write a very simple condition that where the minimum salary is not equals to any postgraduate or any graduate, or you can also use a regular expression kind of a thing that can analyze the thing for you in a pretty easy manner. Okay. So this is how we are analyzing or basically cleaning this column. Okay. Is it possible to replace all the string values to not disclose instead of making them into a whole list? Okay. Is there any way? Yes, there is a way. The way is you can use a regular expression that will check if this is a number or not. If this is a number, that is fine. If this is not a number, convert it into not disclosed. So you need to go for a for loop and then convert it in exactly the way that you want, in exact category that you want. So it will be a for loop that will go for all of them. And once it is going for all of them, then you can go back and check. Then you can go back and check that if it is returning you true, for example, in this particular case, the answer should be true. So it should be the same thing. In this particular case, it should be not disclosed. So in this particular case, it should be not disclosed, or you can also use regular expressions. Okay, which is advanced concept that we have in Python or in data cleaning. So we don't have that much of time to give to regular expressions as well, but I'll give you a glimpse of it when we are going to analyze the data. So for now, I have cleaned the salary column as well. Okay, just to summarize, we have cleaned the salary column as well. Now, the last thing, or the second last thing that has to be clean is the location column. And in the location part, I'm going to make the things a lot easier for you. In the location part, there are not a lot of cleaning required. Whatever cleaning needed in the location column, we can do it in the analysis part as well. Because in one line, I can write the code that will give you all the location. For example, I can write value counts here. So Bangalore is the one with most number of location. Hyderabad, Secunderabad is the one with most number of location, but there might be couple of them with just Bangalore and just Bangalore. So in that case, which one should be taken? That's something we need to take care, right? And there are a couple of them, for example, here Gurugram, Gurgaon. So this one should also be taken care inside it, right? In the exact same way, you might have like Delhi here, you have seen New Delhi here. So these category also should be taken care. So I'm not cleaning this column for now. I'm going to clean it in the runtime. So when I'm going to analyze it, I'm going to analyze it in such a way that cleaning will not be needed. Okay. So this part is something I'm removing for now, but I'm going to clean this review column because that is important. And why is it important? Because if you look closely, I have a question related to top 5 companies. If you want to find top 5 companies, you need to know based on what you need to find the top 5. Is it based on the rating, based on the reviews, based on the number of job postings, based on the salary, probably? What exactly needs to be done? That's something we need to find, right? For that purpose, review column should be in the integer format. Right now, it is not. So what we can do, we can just check the unique values so that I can get a reference. So all of them comes with the reviews. So the best thing we can do right now is take this reviews column dot str dot replace, or you can either go for directly splitting them as well. Dot split, and after splitting, take 0th index, which will take this particular part, right? And after that, convert it to the integer data type. This is how it looks. The column looks pretty promising, right? So now you can take it, and this is how easy it is to clean the reviews column. And that is it. Okay. Now comes the data analysis part. Now we are going to write the code to find the answer of the questions that we have. Okay. And let's answer them one by one. Clear? Extract using regex. Yes, extracting you using regex is the best thing you can do. Okay. At the end, if you get some time, I'll also show you the code to use, how you can use regular expressions. Okay. So now let's write the code to find the answer of those questions. So what is the first question? The first question is to find the total number of jobs. So what are the total number of jobs do we have? Which code exactly I need to write? Okay, so let me break it. Okay, let me add some basic details here so that I can collapse all the things. So project process loading the data. Okay. So now the first question is to find the total number of jobs. So how will you find the total number of jobs? Now, there are multiple ways to find it. Now, can I directly check? Now, there are multiple ways to find it. Should I check the length of the data frame? This is part one. Or let this is part one where I will just check the length of the data frame. And the second part, I'll go for df of job ID column. And I'll find the number of unique values do we have here. Which approach should I use? Should I check the length of the data frame or job ID of unique? Or sorry, it should be n unique so that I'll get the answer in the exact number. Okay. Second one. Okay. Now, do we have any chances that both of the numbers should be exactly the same? right? Now, if let's do one thing, let's check the length of the data frame. Length of the data frame is 72967, right? And let's check the df dot unique. This is also 72967. They are the same, right? Why they are the same? Because if you go back in the data cleaning part, when we are dealing with duplicates, we have removed all the duplicate based on job ID. So all the job ID should be unique, right? So to answer the question number one, you can use either of the approach. You can either go for length of the data frame or you can go for this approach. This approach will work better because, but this one will also work. Reason being, I have already removed the duplicate paths. So I can just print it for now. Total number of total jobs. And here I am printing in this way of total unique jobs. So total unique jobs are this much. Okay. Now that's it. That's the answer of the first question. But this answer can be easily something that you can get if your data is clean. If your data is not clean, you know how much work you need to do. Total number of companies. Now, how will you find total number of companies? I want you guys to answer in the chats. What is n unique? N unique will give you number of unique elements. Thank you, my Mukesh, for giving the answer. Okay. So if I go for DF of means the second question, and the second question is top uh, total number of companies associated with us. So this is total number of jobs. And let's do one thing. Let's answer it here only. And let's go for an overall analysis. Okay, so total number of unique jobs is length of the data frame. Total unique companies. How will you find the number of unique companies? To find the number of unique companies, the funda should be pretty simple. We will go for df of company dot n unique, right? So df of company dot n unique. So the funda is this one. So total number of unique companies do we have is this many. Okay, you can make the formatting a little bit better. This is how you can write it. And you can also do something like this, which will make the things a little fun for you. Right, so let's go for 35. Great. This is how it looks. Total jobs, total companies associated to us. This is the number that I have. Okay, sorry. So once I have that, what is the next question? You can directly jump into the next question. That's how easy it is. This how easy analysis is now. Okay. Now the question is top 5 companies. Now we need to find the top 5 companies. Now, what you will do in this particular case, if the question is to find the top 5 companies, right? Because top 5 companies can be found based on different parameters. You can find based on rating. You can find it based on reviews. You can find it based on number of jobs that they have posted. You can find it based on the maximum salary that they are giving. So there are a lot of factors based on that we can find the top 5 companies, right? So rather than finding the solution of this question, it would be great if you can go back and find a better KPI. Like rather than finding top 5 companies, go for a detailed part like top 5 company based on rating and based on reviews, based on salary. And in salary as well, you can go for like minimum salary, maximum salary, average salary, or number of job postings, or number of locations, number of different locations they are hiring for, or what, right? Or based on the skill set. So this answer can be found based on all the different kind of factors. Okay. Now what I should do, I can go back and I will try to answer this question based on all the different parameters. And then I will see which one is giving you the best answer. Okay, so now I will take all these things and I will see what are the things that we can do, right? So now in the code part, let's take, now the task is to find the top 5 companies, right? So I can take this df, which is the whole data frame that I have. If I want to find the company with maximum number of jobs listed, okay, so the funda would be pretty simple. I can go for df and I can just go for df dot company dot value counts, and that is it. I've got the answer. Lave Association, Accenture, Ukon, and these are the numbers. If your task is to find just the top five of them, just write dot head. These are the top 5 companies as per salary. Okay, but we can not as per salary, as per number of jobs. Right now, we can find it based on the rating as well. So let's do one thing. Now I'm going to find the top 5 companies based on their rating. Right now, if I'm talking about, for example, df of uh, if I'm just showing you the data frame, here you can see this is Accenture with the rating 4.1. This is Accenture rating 4.1, Accenture 4.1, and these are the reviews that I have. Right, so what I can do, if I am directly sorting this data, so I can go for df dot sort underscore values. There we also have a function dot sort underscore values, and here I can pass whichever column that you want. For example, I want to sort them based on rating, right? So go ahead. Ascending is equals to false. So now my data is sorted based on rating, right? So these are the companies like Bridge River, Alia, Campus, Sundaya, and all of them with rating 5, right? And you can also go for dot head. So these are the top 5 companies, right? Now here, luckily, all the companies have the same, I would say, name, right? Now, if you need to find the answer of the same thing based on reviews, you can go for reviews. Now, in the reviews part, all of them are TCS. Why all of them are TCS? Because these are 5 job roles which are showing you the same link, because all of them are the same. So what I need to do, I need to basically use, if you are into, if you have done a little bit of work on Excel or SQL, you might have aware about the term pivot tables. You might have aware about the term group by, right? In SQL, we have group by. So I can use group by kind of a function, which is going to make the groups based on the maximum of the reviews. Okay, so I can go for df dot group by. I'm going to make the groups. Groups are going to be made based on the company, right? And once I have the company, I'm going to take the reviews. And what I'm going to take of the reviews, maximum review or the minimum review of the company or average. Now I know for one company, the review is going to be the same. So either I can take maximum or minimum or average, it is going to be the same, right? Executing it, this is what we have. Okay. Now the data is not sorted yet. So I can also write dot sort underscore values. And at the bottom, we have TCS. Okay. Let's write sending is equals to false. So these are the top 5 companies based on their reviews. Now let's cross verify. What will happen if I'm doing it based on max? The data is exactly the same. What if I'm doing based on the average? The data is exactly the same. So as I've told you, because one company is having just one single rating. Okay. So this is something that can be done. So I'm using a group by function, which is going to take all the companies, make individual groups of all the companies. For example, all the companies, all the job posted by TCS will be there in a single table. All the job by Reliance will be again in a single table, and then same for all the companies. And then I'm going to take a review column of that individual table and find the minimum value. And minimum value or maximum value or the average value should be the same in the reviews column, because this is what it is. This is how the data is stored. Okay. Now, this is the answer of based on reviews. This is the answer based on reviews again, but this is the answer based on least okay, most reviewed, but here I have the issue, all of them are TCS. So this is the better version of writing it. Okay, so if you want to find the top 10, top 5 companies based on rating, these are the companies I have. Top 10 company based on reviews, these are the companies that I have. And top 10 companies based on value counts or number of job postings, this is what I have. Now tell me, which one you think is the most promising thing? If your task is to find the top 5 companies, which approach you should be using? Are you going to use the first one, which is finding the top 5 company based on the jobs, or based on rating, or based on reviews? Is it possible to have more than one column? Yes, we can have more than one column. Okay. So a lot of you guys are saying rating. Okay. But look closely. Okay. That's great that we are having like people who are into rating versus reviews. But if you look closely, if I talk about rating, there are companies with 5 rating, which are at the top. That's great. We have 5 rated companies. But imagine you have a product in front of you. You have 2 products in front of you, or 3 products in front of you. Imagine you're surfing an Amazon and you're planning to buy a drone. Okay. An RC drone. Okay. And in an RC drone, you have 3 options. You have a drone whose okay, whose price, probably imagine all of them are having the same price. One of them is having like 3.5 rating, but 5,000 reviews. 3.5 rating, 5,000 reviews. Okay. Another one has 4 rating with 100 reviews. Okay. Another one having 4.5 rating, 10 reviews. And you have another one again with just 4.9 rating, but just 3 reviews. Okay. So here you have, okay, let's make it a bit better. Okay. So now tell me which one you are going to buy. Okay. So usually what happen is rating is a good part, but whenever I talk about the reviews, reviews comes with the credibility. More the reviews, more validation you have. There are a lot of people who have bought it. Okay. You might have found a sweet spot as well, that rather than going for this particular drone, I can go for this particular one with 400, but you are not going to buy a 4.1. And imagine if there is a 5-star drone with just one review. Are you going to buy it? No. It's not about the rating. It's about reviews. Reviews matters a lot more than rating. So because of that only, if you look closely, based on rating, I have companies with 5 rating, but just 3 reviews. Do you think this is worth it? No. 3 reviews are nothing, right? 3 reviews, a company's own employees can go and make the reviews, right? But here, if I talk about based on number of job postings, or best part based on number of reviews, this will give you the best thing, because here you can see the credibility. The numbers are way higher. Okay. So this is why we are going to use this particular approach. So to answer this particular question, I have gone through different ways, but then I got to know the best thing we can do is based on reviews. Okay. So top 5 companies, if the task is to find the top 5 companies, going for review is the best thing you can do. Okay. So you can go back, and this is the overall analysis, but let's go back to the question number 2, where we are going to find the top 5 companies. And this is 3.2. and we need to find the top 5 companies. So we meant to perform the group by function. So this is the answer of this question. Okay. Now, just to give you a hint, a very basic hint, that imagine this particular data is pretty simple. These are just number. I don't need to plot it anywhere. But this data can be plotted. We can plot this data, right? And if the task is to plot like top 5 or top 10 of them, instead of just going head, you can go for inside head of 10, it will give you top 10. Instead of going for like, if you want to go for top 3, this is what you will have. Okay. But that's a very basic thing. But imagine if I want to find top 5, but I want to plot a graph. And any guesses which graph will work best in this particular case? Sir, but reviews might be negative or positive. Reviews might be negative or positive. That's an important part, but there are a lot of reviews. You can also take a ratio between reviews and means you can also apply a formula by performing it on both rating and reviews by giving some weightage so that both the factors will be taken care. Okay. So a lot of you guys are saying bar graph will work. Yes, bar graph will basically give you the best kind of a comparison. Okay. So if I'm going now, how to plot a bar graph? You just need to write dot plot and just write kind is equals to bar. That is it. It has plotted a bar graph for you, right? This is what data visualization is. No, this is not the data visualization. This is just level 0 or level 0.0001 of data visualization, right? There are a lot of other things you can do with data visualization as well, but just by writing plot with along with your data frame, you can plot the data. Now you might be saying, what if you want to go for a pie chart? Here's a pie chart in front of you. Okay, if you want to do it for first 10 jobs, okay, congratulations, here in front of you, the same thing based on the top. If you want to go again for bar, this is how the bar graph will look, right? So you can also plot the graphs in the exact same way. That's how easy it is to plot the graphs. But these graphs are not that great. These graphs are not very much appealing to my eyes. These graphs are not showing enough data. You can have these annotations. It would be great if we can have the graphs in exactly the same colors as my company's logo. It would be great if I can interact with these graph. We can great, right? If we can have the annotation on top of each bar. So that's something that we need to add. And for this part only, we have libraries like Matplotlib, we have libraries like Seaborn, we have libraries like Plotly. Okay. Is it working without importing Matplotlib? Yes, it is working without Matplotlib because a lot of dependencies of Matplotlib are already there in Pandas. So if I imported Pandas, so that's totally fine. It will work as well. But full-fledged working, if you want to do, so you need to import Matplotlib for that. Okay. This is just to show you. As we go ahead, we are going to answer all these questions as well. So if the question is to find the top 5 of them, this is the answer. Okay. Eventually at the end, we are going to build the graphs. We are going to build the visualization part as well. Okay. Now, first 3 questions are asked, are done, right? Now, the next question is finding the companies hiring for data analyst role. Now, how will you answer this question? You need to find how many companies do we have hiring for a data analyst role. How many companies do we have hiring for data analyst role? What is the duration of the lecture? It is around 2 hours. So 1 hour is already done. So we'll be like 1 hour more. Okay. By probably 10, we are going to wrap it up. Okay. So now companies hiring for data analyst role. Now what the funda should be pretty simple. We need to go for all the companies which are hiring for data analysts. So job role should be data analyst, right? So let's go for job role and let's double equals to, and here the things are pretty simple. In pandas, the things are very simple. Inside the job role, I want to search for data analyst. Click OK. And here you can see all the values are false. Now, why all the values are false? Because wheresoever you have data analyst written, the value will be true. So you can pass this whole array of true and false to my actual data frame. So it will return you only the rows where data analyst is true. And here in front of you, all the jobs of data analyst. If you want to know how many, yes, it is case sensitive. Now, if you want to know how many jobs are there for a analyst, so just check the length of it. So here in front of you are one, okay, 59 jobs for data analyst. Okay, but here we have an issue. Can anyone tell me what is the issue? There is a big issue with this data set. Okay, there's something we have dealt in the last class as well. Okay, so the issue with this data set is if you go back and check the job role column, if you look closely in the job role, anyone can write anything, right? There is someone who have written branch banking, right? Calling for women candidates. Now, if I'm doing this kind of search, this is doing the exact absolute search. So if someone has written only data analyst, then only you will get it. If someone has written data analysis, now you might be thinking how someone can be so dumb by just writing just data analyst as a job role, because data analysis is something that a data analyst does, right? So imagine there is a job role of uh, the web development, right? Or web developer is the job role, right? So if I'm talking about job role, just want to give it a try. Do we have any job role for of a data analysis? Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, congratulations. We have Kotak General Insurance hiring for data analysis. Okay, so communication skills, Excel data analysis, these are the things that the person should know. That's fine. But we also have people who are writing data analysis. There might be some people who are writing data analysis, right? Like this. Okay. There might be someone who might have written data analysis with incorrect spellings. Okay. There might be some people who might have written data analysis in some other way. So that is something that need to be standardized. And how that can be standardized? By the person who is posting the jobs, right? So right now, there is no way other than going for a lot of if else condition or going for LLM model that can standardize all these job roles, where I'm going to pass all the job roles one by one and it will standardize the job role. For example, if data analyst is the job role, it should be written as data analyst. Okay, so that is something that can be done. But for now, how many jobs are for data analyst? The simple answer is this one. Okay, someone has mentioned how we can take both the columns of rating and reviews into the consideration. So imagine I'm writing a very simple formula. Okay, I'm taking the rating. This is the rating that we have, and I'm taking the reviews. Okay, we call it as a weighted sum. Okay, so I'm going to take rating. For example, I don't want to give that much importance to rating, so I'm giving 0.01% importance to my rating, but I'm giving a lot of importance to my reviews. So 0.9% is something I'm giving to my reviews. Okay, and eventually I'm going to add both of them, and that's it. It is taking rating, multiply them by this. It's taking reviews, multiply them by this, and you will have a new, exactly new resultant column, right? If you want to change the rating or average or weighted average, you can do that as well. And once that part is done, you can create a new column named as DF of rating, review, filter. And if I show you the data set, this is how it looks. It has the new column, which is rating, review, filter. So now what you can do, you can take it right? And now perform group by based on rating review filter. And now these are the companies that I have, which has both the components, rating as well as reviews. Okay, you can change the weights here rather than if you want to give more importance to rating. So just give more importance to rating. And here you can decrease the importance to 50% as of rating. So this is called as weighted average or weighted sum. Clear? There might be a lot of other use cases as well which you can apply. Okay. Now coming back to this point, how many companies are hiring for a data analyst? This is the answer. Okay. Now what is the next question? The next question is skills needed for almost all the jobs. Like what are the important skill sets? Okay, rather than going for almost all the job, we can go for specific things as well. But the funda is pretty simple. Okay, let me copy paste it. Skills needed for almost all the jobs. Now, from where exactly you can get the skills? You can get skills and responsibilities column. Okay, so basically we need to do something on responsibilities column. We need to find which responsibilities are most common in most jobs. Which column, which responsibility has maximum frequency, right? Now, how will you find this? So for that purpose, if you look closely, this is the data of this. These are the responsibility of first job. These are responsibility of second job. These are the responsibilities of third job and so on. And here you can see this is how it's written. So all of them are comma separated. So shall we do one thing? Let's take all of them dot str and let's split them based on comma. So this is what we have. All of the job roles are now splitted. Okay. And now I just need to count how many times customer service appears in the whole data set. So this is how much important customer service is. I will find how much important sales is. So I need to count how many times sales appear in this, how many times relationship management appear in this. That's something I need to find, right? So now I'm going to do something very, very special. I'm going to use dot str dot explode function. Now what just happened? What just happened is, if you look closely, here you can see I have customer service, then sales, then relationship management, and then so on, and then product management and so on. And total we have 7, 2, 9, 6, 7 rows. So in every row, we have list with multiple elements. Now by writing dot explode, I am adding all of them into one giant list. So in one giant list, I will have customer service, then we have sales and relational management and so on. So we can see sales, relation management, and then product management and marketing. And we have total of 4,77,000 rows. So all the individual rows where I have individual lists are now added in one giant list. So all the elements of the first one in the first list, then one above the other, like below other. And this is what we have. Okay. The funda is pretty simple. Okay. Now, what I'm doing, if you go back and let me show you just dot head of it. So here you can see first three responsibilities are from first job because here the index is 0, right? And now the next one of them, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 different responsibility for getting job next job. And these are the responsibility for getting the third job. Now all I need to do is take this column and perform just value count on this. That is what it is. Value counts. And this is giving you the answer that how many times sales appear in this data, how many times tied appear in this data, agency, communication, training. So skills needed for all the jobs. So if I'm writing So it would be better if the question is to find the top 5 skills or top 10 skills or top 20 skills. So in this particular case, if the question is to find the top 10 skills, here are the top 10 skills that will help you getting hired. Okay, you might be thinking here it's written sales in capital. Someone might have written sales in all caps or all lowercase or things like that. If you want to deal with that part as well, funda is pretty simple. String dot lower. I'm lowercasing all the characters so that all the mishappening will be done then and there only. So here you can see this is the data for sales. Earlier the data is, if I'm not lowercasing it, it was 5623. But after writing dot lower, you can see means there are almost 1400 jobs with sales, exact sales, but written in lowercase or written in some other way. So you can also lowercase and then check it. So these are the skill needed for you to get a job in general. Now, because of this, the data might be biased as well, because in some of the cases, this kind of thing happens that if in my data set, if at naukri.com, there are a lot of job for a specific job role. So these responsibilities will be biased, right? For example, at Geeks for Geeks, if we have most of the jobs of tech role, so rather than sales, the most popular responsibility might be Python or DSA or things like that, right? So this kind of responsibilities are biased as well, but that totally depends upon the data. Okay, so skills needed to get almost all the jobs. So these are the important skill sets. Okay, now if you want to do the exact same thing for just the data scientist, because we also have a question related to that, skills needed to get hired at SDFC Bank. Okay, so we can answer this question pretty easily as well, because now we know the hook, right? So skills to get hired in SDFC Bank, all we need to do is do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. But only thing we need to take here is, rather than taking the whole data set, just take only the data set where company is equals to HDFC Bank. Okay, I think the name should be something else. HDFC Bank. It's written this way. So these are all the jobs of HDFC Bank. Now what I need to do, I need to go to their responsibilities and then do rest of the things exactly in the same way. So here, if I want to get hired as in SDFC Bank, these are the what I would say things you need to know. These are the things you need to aware about. These are the responsibilities you need to aware about, and that's it, right? That's how it is, because I've already written the code to find the responsibilities. Okay, can I do the exact same thing? Like, what are the responsibilities I need to have to become a data analyst? Yes, why not? So let's go back, and this time the funda will be again exactly the same, but rather than going for company is equals to SDFC, here it would be data analyst, and here should be job role. So for a data analyst, data analysis is the responsibility that you need to have. SQL, Excel, data analyst, Power BI, Tableau, Python, analytics, data management. These are the things that you need to know. And if I want to do the exact same thing for any specific job role of your choice, for example, so these are the things that you need to know to become a data scientist, right? And this is data backed. This is what data backed decision is, right? So in the exact same way, you can go for anything of your choice. Okay, and you can go for it. Okay, what is it counting? It is counting what are the different responsibilities do we have. Okay, it is counting what are the different responsibilities do we have. For basically, if I go for DF of responsibilities, It is counting how many these values do we have: customer services, sales, a relationship. It is finding first of all how many unique values do we have, and then it is finding how many times each value appears, right? And then because the moment we are writing with the value counts, have we sorted them? No, we have not sorted them because value count is already returning the value in sorted format. So that's totally fine if you are not doing it. Okay. And now let's go for the last question. Okay. Average salary of a specific years of experience that can be easily handled. Okay. And okay, let's do one thing. Let's do the visualization part now. Okay. Because next of the question for next question, like we are going to write at the end for the code of last question. Okay. Now let me go back and now let me tell you how data visualization can be done. Now for data visualization, you don't need to create a new module data visualization. Whatever data you have, you can analyze the data then and there only. For example, to analyze this data, the best kind of graph is dot plot kind is equals to bar. You can make a bar graph. It will work, right? If the question is to find the top 10 of them, you can go for top 10 of them. That is pretty simple, right? In the exact same way, what is this data? This data is just a specific number, just a very simple number. So because it is just a number, so it does not require any kind of what I would say graph to present, right? But to this point, but for this particular case, it was great if you can have a kind is equals to bar, and here it should be dot plot, right? So this is what we have. Again, a bar graph. Okay. And if I want to skills to get hired at HDFC Bank, okay, dot plot kind is equals to bar. Again, here bar graph will work because this data is something that is friendly to bar graph. Okay. But if you want to go for something else, for examples, to become a data analyst, dot plot here as well, basically the bar plot will go dot plot kind is equals to bar. And here as well, bar graph is going. But if you want to try with something else, you can also go for kind is equals to pi or something like this. Okay. You can also go for donut kind of a chart. Okay. So this is how we are plotting a graph. Now let's see what is the importance of some specific libraries that we have. Okay. So as we have discussed, we have like these are the KPIs, the questions, and the same questions are something over here as well because this is the question that we have. Okay, that we have answered. Now in the data visualization part, we have tools or libraries that will help you visualize the data. We already have the data, but rather than displaying it as it is in terms of tables, I want to display them in terms of graphs. And this is where data visualization is important. Clear? And because this is where data visualization is important, we have libraries like Matplotlib, like Seaborn, like Plotly that will help you visualize the graph. Okay. Usually very, it's not a very popular that these kind of questions are being asked in the interview. Okay. Uh, okay. Don't we use analysis also using scikit-learn? Okay. There are some very specific use cases for where you can exactly use scikit-learn, some of the function from scikit-learn as well. But mostly you will be using for visualization or analysis. These are the things that will work. Okay. If you want to go for the extreme and you want to find like the outliers in the data set or go for correlation kind of a thing, then you can use scikit-learn. Okay. SDFC Bank are not the same as the general skills required. What is the skills needed as HDFC Bank are not the same as the general skills required? Yes, a lot of things are common, but there are a lot of things that are specific to HDFC Bank only. So I'm analyzing the data of SDFC Bank. Okay. Can you please explain explode function again? Yes. Okay. So in the explode part, what exactly happening is I am taking, I hope till here everything is fine. I'm just lowercasing it and splitting them. And in the explode part, what I'm doing, imagine if I'm taking all these elements. So these are the elements of the first list, right? Now, these are the elements of the second list. These are the elements of third list. Okay. And so on. Clear? So imagine this is the data that we have right now. Rather than writing all the data in this particular manner, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take all the data and adding it one on top of another. So earlier, this is the data that I have for multiple lists. Now I'm going to create one giant list where I will add this data and then take this data and add it in the exact same list. Okay. And then not only that, I'll take the third row as well. So I have combined first two rows, right? In the exact same way, I combine the third row. And third row is this one. So I'll take this data of the third row, add it here. Okay. Not only that, I'll take the fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, and all the rows and combine it into one giant list. So now I need to just perform value count on this list, and it will tell you how many unique values do we have and how many times each value is appearing. This explode function will help you do exactly the same thing. And look closely. First one is customer service. Then we have sales, then we have relational management, then we have product management, then we have market analysis, and then you will have like change management, agile, and all the exact same thing. So if I go for dot head of 20, you can match them. They are exactly the same, right? So now the funda is pretty clear. This is how explode function works. This is what explode function is. Okay. Explode is in Python. Yes, it is in Python, not directly in like core Python. We are using some libraries. It's in pandas. This is a better thing to say. Okay. Now, let's see how we can customize these graphs, because this graph that I've just shown you is not a very beautiful graph. Let's be realistic, right? So this graph has some problems with it. Okay. And usually whenever you are going to make a graph, for example, this data set is for Naukri.com. So best thing you can do is you can go back here and check Naukri, Naukri logo. Okay. So if you go to images, you will get the Naukri.com logo. Okay. So from here you can see this is what the image is. Fine. So what I can do, you can take the colors from this Naukri.com logo, and then you will try to add the same kind of logo in your code. That's the best thing you can do. Okay. So these are the graphs, for example, that you can see. Here you can see at the left, we have written reviews. You have not written how much percent of area it is occupying, not even percentage. It's not also not mentioning the numbers. So this thing has to be added, right? Now I'm going to tell you how you can learn more about these libraries that will help you customize this data. Okay, there are two ways to do this. First way is you can go back to the documentation of the library. Okay, and once you are at the documentation of the library, you can see what function exactly we need to call to add different colors, what function we need to add data into it, to add percentage into it, to change the font of the percentage, to go for 2 decimal place or 3 decimal place, to change these font colors. This is one way. Go to documentation, means if here I can go for Matplotlib documentation. Okay. And this is where you reach Matplotlib stable. This is documentation. And here you can go for whatever different kind of graphs that we have. Here we have the cheat sheet as well of Matplotlib that you can take the reference from, which will tell you like which function we can use for which particular thing. So this is a quick uh, revision, or basically quick access to whatever you want to do. And here you can also go for directly to the plot types. It will give what are the different kind of plots do we have, or you can go for a bar graph. Okay, like this time I want talking about bar graph. So this is the code that will help you plot the data in a bar graph. I'm importing Matplotlib. I'm not using the default uh, means the data that I have. I'm creating the data by myself using NumPy. Okay, and then using ax dot bar, I'm passing this is the data x and y axis. This is the width of each bar. This is the color of each bar h. This is the width of each bar, and this is where exactly x-axis limit, y-axis limit, and at the end, this is what it is displaying, right? So this is the basic thing. This is first way of doing it. Okay, and now let me tell you the second and a smart way of doing it. Okay, we have not discussed about it so far, but if you go back here, we can see Gemini. Okay, so Gemini is already integrated here. Best part of Gemini integration is you can directly write the questions here, right? For example, this is the code that we have. Okay, rather than passing it here, you can write like give me the code to plot a bar graph. But okay, rather than going for a bar graph, let's go for this one to go for a pie chart with Matplotlib. So it will give you code. Okay, and let's give it a try. So here you can see this is the code that it has returned you. Okay, so let me copy and paste it. And here you can see what exactly it has done. If you look closely, have I told it that this is the code that I need to take? And on this particular code, you need to make the graphs. No, I've just written, give me the code to plot a pie chart with Matplotlib library. That is it. So basically, this model, this Gemini is very intelligent. It is intelligent enough that it is going through all my codes and it is checking where exactly I have made a plot. Not only the plot, but a pie chart. And it is using the same code. For example, it is taking the group by the exact same function that I have written, but rather than writing dot plot kind, it is taking this particular thing. This is going to store, means if I'm not writing this part is storing the data frame. So this company reviews will have this particular data frame with it. And inside it, it has defined a figure size 8 by 8. So the graph will be made a perfect square. Then it is taking the label will be taken from the labels exactly. These are the labels. The auto PCT will tell you how much decimal place you want to go with. I want to go with one decimal place, so 1F. Start angle is 140. So basically the text will be written. So basically the colors will be starting from 140 degrees. Changing it will change the just the angle of it. That's it. This is going to be the title. X is equals plot show. So let's give it a try that how it looks. Now this is how it looks. Is it better than this? Means better than this? Yes, it's a lot better than this. Not only in terms of size and text, but text is also a lot better. Definitely, there is an issue with that. This is like superimposing it. It would be great if the text can be colored in a different manner. But yes, this part is going fine. Okay. Now what I can do, I can change this angle. For example, if the angle is 90°, this is how it looks. If the angle is probably 0°, this is how it looks. So you can change it based on the thing that you want. Uh, Changing it to, for example, TCS is the number one, right? So it would be great if it is at TCS it at number one. So it would be great if I'm going it for 90, probably. Yes, it is just great if I am going with 120. Okay. So if you want TCS on top, so this is what you can do. Okay. Now here, if I want to change it to, for example, 4 by 4, the graph is shrunk to 4 by 4. Okay. If you want to make it 6 by 6, I think 6 by 6 would be a good figure. This is it. Okay. Now, this is what we have so far. If I want to change the color of it, if I want to change this text, so let's go one by one. Okay. Now, here I'm writing code to, now there are two ways as I told you. Either you can use Gemini or you can go back to the documentation and check. Using documentation is a time consuming task. Gemini will do a lot of things for you pretty easily. Instead of Gemini, you can also use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT will give you a basic code. You need to modify the code so that it will work in your case, but it is working in my case. Okay. So now here I can write code to modify the colors of the graph and go for a darker, or basically a, a blue shade. Why blue shade? Because I know the logo of Naukri.com is blue, right? So you can say it has given me a code, and most of the things are pretty simple, pretty same. We have the company reviews. This is an extra column that is added, right? Which is of colors. And here colors equals to colors, an extra thing that is added. Okay, that's fine. So let me replace everything and let's see how it looks. Now this is how it looks. Okay. Now this is a bit more classy. Rather than having a lot of different colors, it's having the same color range. Now, definitely it would be great if first three of them should be off, or first two of them should be of a dark, should be of text, or basically what I would say, the annotation should be in white color. So I can modify it. Okay. Now I am writing modify the code to go for white color annotation for largest three values. Okay. So now here you can see it is modifying the code. It is go for company views, the exact same thing. It is defining the colors. And now this is trying to add the colors. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let me add a more version here. Let's execute it to check how it looks. And here you can see this is working, right? And all of the things are exactly the same. Just first three of them are of white color because of probably this code. This is finding the top three, and this is changing the color of them to white. And by default, all of them are black. So first of all, define all of them as black and then change the color to white. That's it, right? Now, if you want to modify them further, so here you can see this is level 1. There was a level 2. This is level 3. This is level 4. Okay, let's add some more layers into it. Okay, so now I want to go with, okay, change the font of the whole thing, font of it, and go for something classy. Okay, or you can also go for write your own font that you want, and it will find that if that font is available or not. So it will be uh, used in the exact same way. Something classy and minimalist. Use larger font size in annotation. Okay, as well as we also have company names, right? Company names. Now, how are companies' names written? Company names are written as labels. So we call them labels, right? So you can also write company names or labels. So now going ahead with it, and let's give it a try what it is doing. So here you can see it is writing the code for you in Matplotlib, doing the exact same thing, finding the colors. This time going for a font size 12. This is the font name it is taking. This is taking the adjust the distance of annotation from the center. So how much distance it should be. Clear? So now if I'm copying it and go for a new version of it, sure. And let's give it a try how it looks. Now this is how it looks. Okay. Now annotations are a little outwards rather than at the center. It is giving you a lot of warnings. So it would be you can also ask it to disable the warnings. So it will disable the warnings for you. Okay. But right now Georgia is not found. So I think the font family I cannot use the Georgia font. I need to go for a default font only. So I need to remove it. And let's remove this particular part as well so that the font will be gone. And here you can see this is a bit better version of it. Okay. If you want to go for even more analysis, for example, if you are into data analysis and if you have already worked on these graphs, you might have known there's a function called as there's explode part here as well. There's not the basic explode that we have in that we have done there, but this is a different explode. Explode top, okay, explode them as per the area they are acquiring. Rest everything should be same. Okay, and you can see just for writing it quickly, I'm just messing with a lot of things in terms of spellings and everything, but this is the code that it has written. Let me copy and paste and show you what exactly it is doing. Okay, and it's not mandatory that it will work. Here you can see it is not going for checking it, but here you can see if I'm executing it, this is what it has. Okay, now it is exploded from the origin. Okay, how much it is exploded now, that's also totally up to you. If you want to explode just top three of them and rest of them should be as it is, you can modify it, go back and modify it as it is. So this is the text that I have written. So here I can write explode only first three of them and rest of them should be as it is. Okay, so once this part is done, so here you can see it is modifying the code to explode only first three, and then now it should be top three rather than going for best three, but let's see if it can do it. And here you can see it is doing it. That's nice. So all I need to do is just disable this particular one, and here I can go for list different font families. Just list that are there in Matplotlib. Okay. So here you can see these are some of them that I have. So let's give it a try if we have sans serif working here. So here you can see serif font is working here, right? Can I use sans serif? Yes, I can do that. Can I use monospace? Monospace is something that might look better here. Okay, so here you can see. I think the issue is we don't have. Okay, I have changed color to monospace. It should be font name to monospace. Okay, so this is how it looks now. Okay, so that's totally up to you which font you want to use. Okay, so graph look promising now. I don't think so there is any issue with graph. Only thing that I need to change is change the title size. Okay, so now I can write change the title size and make it bigger. Okay, so now this particular part which is displaying you the title plt.title, this particular part with font size 16, this part I think if I'm just changing the font size to 25, it will work, and it is working. That's great. So I don't even need to go back and check it and change it. Okay, but definitely it would be great if I can have some padding here, right? So add some padding between the title and the graph. Okay, that is important. Otherwise, like it will superimpose it. Okay, and now here you can see whatever code it is generating, it is still generating based on Georgia. So the best thing you can do is this is the final code that you have executed. Take it and you can write modify it to add some padding or space between title and graph. Okay, so here I have already given it the code. So what will happen? It will take this particular code and try to modify it in the way that I want. So now if I go for this particular function, now this is doing a lot of things on its own, but this is the final graph that you have. Okay, if you want to change the font size of the annotations as well, here you can see this is the font size. Let's go for 20. This is how it looks. Okay, and in this particular case, the top 10 companies, here I change it to 30 then. So it will look a bit better, a bit bigger, and you can change the size of it. Okay, so this is a good thing. This is great, right? So this is the final graph that you have. Okay, well, let's go back to the same structure. This is the final graph that I have. If you want to add some extra space on top of it, so you can also ask it like which particular part of it is adding the extra. So here you can see this is the part which is adding the padding. So if I'm adding the pad 30, so it's added some extra pad, and let's go for 40. and this is the final padding that I have. So this is the final graph that I have. That's great, right? So this is what I have. This is the first final graph that I have made. Top 10 companies by minimum reviews. Okay, by minimum reviews. Okay, I think I need to change the title. So the question was, and if you look closely, what are the versions that we have executed? This is what I have got in level one by just writing plot kind is equals to pi. This does make sense. It's not like this is not showing you the data. It is showing you the data, but here you can see how much better we can make it. We can make it a lot better, right? And we can also still play with colors. We can still add a lot of other functionalities as well. Okay, right now I can see like these graphs are not interactive. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the whole code. And this time I'm giving to Gemini. I'm make it interactive. And here you can see whatever library I'm using. So far I'm using just Matplotlib library, right? Now I'm going to use interactive with Seaborn. Okay. Now whatever code that I have written is now going to be replaced with Matplotlib. Okay. Sorry, Seaborn. So it is installing a new library, which is MPLD3 to enable the notebook to interact. So I need to install this particular library and do uh, the additional part. Okay, but that's fine. So let's give it a try. So this is the code that it has. And this time, okay, okay. I need to modify it. I need to give it again. Okay, so Gemini, this is the final code. Modify this code to do the same thing in Matplotlib. Sorry, the same thing in Seaborn. Okay. Eventually, this is a time consuming task for sure, but this is not that technical. This is not that analytical. Main thing that where you will invest most of your time is in your or most of your brain is in analytical skills, in analyzing the data, in cleaning the data. Once your data is clean, once your data is analyzed, you have the data with you, right? Rest of the things can be easily automated or easily done with LLM tools. They can do a lot of help for you as you can see here, right? So they are helping you in doing a lot of things. And here you can see now it is using Seaborn library to do the things. So I'm just copying and pasting it just to see what I have got. So this is what I have, okay, which is not a lot better than uh, the other ones, but here, okay, let's go for Plotly now. Okay, so basically just to give you the structure, how data visualization or basically what is the flow of it in terms of visualization. First of all, first step is to just get the things done. Get the things done. Get the analysis done first of all. Once the analysis done, just show the graph. Okay, and show the graph basically just to check which particular graph will be suited best for which particular type of data and just plot them using just like dot plot, the way that we have plotted it, right? Once we have plotted it, then once all the graphs are plotted in just this particular way, then we need to finalize the visualization format. And in finalizing the visuals, take any visual of your choice, take any visual. Okay, and in taking any visual, select the colors, theme, theme, font, etc. Everything. Okay, and once you have found it, then you need to go for some advanced libraries like Seaborn and Plotly to plot the graphs to finalize it. Okay, so usually it's not like I'll start with Plotly or Seaborn. If you're starting with Plotly or Seaborn, you will be missing a lot of your time. So best thing is, first of all, get the things done, get all the things answered, and just plot them with dot plot. And after that, just spend some of your time to perfect just one graph with one specific colors, and then try to mimic almost the same thing here. Okay. Now I'm writing it. So for example, do it in Plotly with interactive graphs. Okay. And just to give you example, like which one you should use. So level one is Matplotlib. Okay. Which will give you decent kind of customization. Level two is Seaborn, which will make graphs a lot better than Matplotlib. And the final is Plotly. Okay. Plotly will help you make the graphs interactive. You can also export the graphs as an HTML file and share it to anyone. We also have a library named as DAS. There is Dash or Dask. I need to check again, right? But this library will help you build dashboards as well. I think it's Dash or Dask. Okay, you can give it a check. Okay, so this is the ideal pipeline. So basic Matplotlib library will give you basic visualization. You can play with colors, play with transparency and a lot of things. Seaborn will add some extra layers of modification that you will do. Plotly will do a next level thing. Okay, it will help you interact with the graphs as well. Okay, so for example, okay, so if I'm copying and pasting it just to see what it is doing or how much it is doing right now. I think I have copy pasted the wrong one. So here you can see this is what the data it is showing, and all the colors are now definitely the colors are messy, but if you look closely, these graphs are interactive. This graph is interactive. Okay. Now what I can do, if you don't want to go for this, you can also go to ChatGPT and ask it to use exactly the same structure. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the exact same code that I have written. This is the final code. Okay. And here I'm asking Gemini to modify this code in Plotly to make it interactive. Okay, and here I can mention, make it exactly the same in terms of colors, and you can mention all the other things as well. So you can see now it is adding all the functionality that I already have here into the Plotly. And now let's copy and paste it to see how it looks exactly. Okay, so this is how it looks. Uh, we have TCS, we have Reliance Industries, all the data is written inside it. If you want to write it outside it, now you know what to do. You can ask it to modify it to do all the other things. Okay, and it will do the things for you. Right now it is using the default blue theme. It would be great if you can go back and check the exact color code, the exact hash code of the company's logo. You can extract those hash codes and then you can get the things done. So basically, this is the time to go for all the 5 level of things we have. Okay. Now this is level one graph that we have made using just plot. In level two, I've added some functionalities into it. Okay. By adding the title and all these level of things by changing uh by changing some basic functionalities. Now I want to change these colors as well for top three. So this is how it looks. Now if I want to change the graph, the size, and adding some more details into it, and all of them are centered towards the left and something like this is also something that's going fine. If I go for it, so here you can see I've exploded it. That's totally up to you if you want to go for this one or that one. Okay. And then I have added some more details into it. And finally, this is the graph that I have finalized. And then I can also convert it into the interactive mode. Okay, why I love interactive mode? Look closely. I can select any column of your choice, and that data will be there, right? So this is what do I mean when I'm saying the graphs are interactive. Okay, these graphs are really interactive, right? Now what I can do, if I want to, if right now I don't, if I'm not trying to go with this interactive kind of graph, for example, this is something I'm going with. So I can copy this, and it would be great if I'm using ChatGPT now. Okay, so let's go for ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Okay, so here I have given the whole code. Okay, it is added somewhere else. So here I have given the code. Okay, so it is searching on the web and analyzing it. But on top of that, I know that I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to take this code, give it to ChatGPT. Okay, and I'm writing analyze this structure, color, font, theme, size, and everything about this graph. Okay, and now just look closely what I'm going to do. And this is the graph I want to make in the exact same format, right? And add all the detailings in the graph that the code shown below making. Okay, simple, right? So I've added the already written structure. I've added what I need to do, right? And the same thing I need to apply on this particular code. Let's give it a try what exactly it is going to do. Okay. So it's doing a comprehensive analysis. So it is making a pie chart. This is the structure layout. This is the color scheme, blues. Okay. Font choices. And then it started making the graph. Okay. So have I copy pasted this graph? Okay, the graph that I have copy pasted is of Seaborn again. Okay, that's totally fine. So if I go to ChatGPT, this is the one that it has copy and pasted. Let's go back and give it a try. What exactly it has done. Okay, so responsibilities column, okay, is something that we don't have. Because it's taking incorrect spelling. So this is the graph that it will make. If you are not happy with this particular graph, which I am not, because here you can see this particular color is pure white and this particular color is dark. Usually it should be the opposite, right? So let's go back and check here if I can directly convert it from here or I need to ask ChatGPT to do it. It would be great if you know how you can manipulate some of the things from here. Otherwise, you will be totally dependent on ChatGPT. That's the worst thing that you can have. Okay. So you can see bars, responsibility count index, the values, and the color palette is blues, length of responsibilities. Okay. So X label, these are printing the ones, these are rotating the axis, these are creating the bar chart, and responsibilities is making the bars. These are the values, and the higher the value, lighter the color. So if higher the value, lighter the color, this is something that is giving the colors. And that is color is based on the length of responsibility. Okay, if I'm writing negative of the length of the responsibility, okay, figure axis, okay, responsibility count, this is a different kind of a palette we have. Okay, so if I have light blues, or if I need to change the color a little bit, okay, okay. So let's do one thing. Uh, on ChatGPT, I can attach the images as well. So I can take an image of it, take a screenshot of it, and let's give it back to ChatGPT and see what it's saying. Right? You cannot analyze the file and image for free. Okay, I need to just give me a second. Let me open the whole thing for you. Okay, so now if I'm opening this particular ChatGPT, the things are pretty open. I'm doing it in temporary mode. And now if I'm taking the screenshot of it and give it to ChatGPT, and I'm writing act as a professional data analyst and review this graph. Okay, so it will give you a detailed review of this graph. Analyze the graph, top and responsibility, frequencies. Okay, high commission demand, balances, tiers. Okay, it's analyzing it. Okay, and you can also mention it, analyze in terms of UI UX, which color should be used. So it will give you the feedback. Okay, so once it has done it, now I can give the code. Modify this code to up and update it as per your feedbacks. Okay. Now, so far I have not even read the feedbacks, but I just want to know that can I blindly trust this at this point of time? So you can see it is writing the codes. Okay. I need to wait for it, and I will take a side-by-side comparison, and then like we are going to wrap it up. Clear? Because rest of the codes, you know how to write it. Clear? So now if I go for something like this, just to see what exactly it has made. Okay. So top 10 responsibility and frequency, and this is what we have. Is it better? The answer is definitely yes. It's a lot better. Okay. Is it obeying the rule where I have mentioned like you should use the exact blue color? Not right now. But undoubtedly, this is way better. This is way better than this one. Okay. So here you can see from this one to this one to this one. That's it, right? That's how interesting is it. It is to use LLMs. And here I'm not using my analytical skills. Okay. Now, to summarize whatever we have done, if I go to the Skelly draw again, we have discussed again with the flow of a data analysis project. This time we have KPIs. So we try to find the answer of the questions. And to find the answer of the questions, we have cleaned the remaining columns. We have analyzed the data and we started visualizing it. While visualizing it, first of all, just get the things done like this one without even plotting it. We have the data. Then just plot it and see which particular kind of graph work best and do it for all of them. Once we are done with it, then go for which color you are going to use and basically start finalizing the things. And in finalizing the things, go for this kind of scenario where we start from level one, try updating all the graphs and go for a best fit. And whenever we go for a best fit, just change the data, change the colors, change the the font and make it uniform, and then go for whatever thing that you want. And here you can see this is the final graph that I have made, right? And this is the final graph that I have made for this one. Now you can modify the same thing, and I'm giving it back to ChatGPT. Do the same for this one, and let's wait for it. Okay, so here you can see this is the final code that it is writing. And once that part is done, it's annotating each and every bar as well, that obviously that I want the data to be there displayed. So I can go for the code cells, execute it, and this is the second one. Top 10 responsibility as SDFC Bank by frequency. You can change the title of it, it can be a lot better. And the same thing you can do it here. What are the things or skill set you need to have to become a data analyst? Okay. And then the exact same thing that we have done like for SDFC Bank. These are the overall data, and you can go for top 10, top 20, and so on. Okay. So this is the notebook that I have finally. Now what I'm doing, I'm sharing this notebook. Okay, I'll go to YouTube and I'll share this link as well in the first comment of this. Okay, I'm copying this, pasting it here, and in this particular part, I think the notebook link is already there. Okay, what's the need of adding the link here? Sorry, I was acting dumb. So now this is the final collab link that's open to you. So all the update that I have done so far are here, and this particular finalized diagram, I'm sharing it again. So I think there will be a new link that it will generate this time. I'm copying this link, and this is the drawing link, the updating drawing link. And I've told you, like, this is the final LinkedIn link. You guys can get into me over here. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be the last lecture of the series, where we are going to finalize this project. We are going to finalize in such a way that we will add all the remaining graphs. We will add the documentation of it and make it look like a professional project, end-to-end professional project. We'll add the documentation of it. We will upload this particular project on our GitHub. Okay. And on our GitHub, we are going to add all the remaining parts of it. We are going to heavily use LLM models, ChatGPT models, because otherwise it will take a lot of time to write all the things manually. And as told you, if you are writing all the things manually, sorry, it's not good for this point of time, because there are a lot of people who are using LLM tools. You need to know the game, that's for sure. But if you know the game and still using LLM tools, that's a bad thing you can do, that you are doing right now. Okay. Share the theory also. Okay. For the theory, yes, this scaling. Okay, let me add it here only. So I've shared this link here as well, and let me share the LinkedIn as well. Okay. So tomorrow class will be an end-to-end finalizing this project. And then, as I've told you, I'm also going to tell you what are the online AI tools that can help you analyze the data end-to-end without even writing any code. End-to-end code without writing anything. Okay. So we'll also discuss the plus and minus of it. And just we'll see what exactly can be done. The link of it is already shared here, but let me share it again. So thank you so much everyone for joining in. Finally able to take dinner for so long session. Yes, me too. I'm also going to have a dinner now. So thank you so much everyone for joining in, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. At the meantime, if you have any doubt, make sure to copy and paste the same code on ChatGPT. Ask it to step by step divide it into multiple steps and see how well it is performing. It will help you in a lot of things. But still, if you have any doubt, first 5 minutes of tomorrow's session will be dedicated to this one. Okay. So thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you in the next class. Take care everyone. Bye bye.